Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Week in Review. This is a video we put out each Monday detailing all the stuff we put out over the past week. And then we give you links in the description of this video so you can check out the full video if you want to. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, I'm Garcia. Here's what I did last week. So Tom and I did a video covering Magic Jumpstart, Magic the Gathering. And in it we just talked about what that product is, who we think it's good for, and just explaining it a little bit, taking a look at some of the ideas that it encompasses and kind of how it functions. So check out that video if you've been curious about maybe getting back into Magic the Gathering and you want to try out Jumpstart, or just if you're curious about what Jumpstart is as a product. And then I reviewed a couple of games. I reviewed Lofoten, which I gave a 6 out of 10 to. This is a 2-player only game in which you are Vikings trading, gathering resources, picking them up, and then dropping them off at home. I found the game to be generally by the numbers. It's got a great look and some interesting mechanisms, but the game feels very, very mechanical, and unfortunately it's missing, I guess, just a little spark of life. It's not quite, even with all the little modules that are included thrown in, it isn't lively, it is not an exciting game, I thought. So while it functions very well, it's one that I'm necessarily not going to be looking forward to much because I find it missing high highs and low lows. I want some dynamism, some excitement. And then I reviewed 4 Humours, which I gave a 7 out of 10 to. And this one is a very quirky game with some bluffing, some area control in which you are putting out tokens on scenes. And then if you win those scenes, you can control a map. And you're trying to get different combinations on that map. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was weird. And it's definitely not a game for every occasion. It's one that I could see upsetting you if things don't quite go your way with the way you put your tokens out and then you reveal them. And through this slightly convoluted methodology, find out, oops, I didn't win. I'm not going to get any control on the board. But I liked it. I thought it was I thought it was weird. I thought it was interesting. And I enjoyed the look, certainly, and the vibe, the setting in this one. It's one that if I want to play something that's just outside the box, both mechanically but thematically and from the visual point of view, this is one I could see myself gravitating towards. So that is 4 Humours. And that's it for me, folks. I will see you on the next one.
All right, this week I took a look at 2 different games. First up, I took a look at 4 Humours. I came in at a 6 for 4 Humours. I was really charmed by the setting of this, the theme, these old witch doctors kind of traveling around with their medicines and herbs and stuff like that, as well as the art. I thought it really fit the theme. But unfortunately, the gameplay fell pretty flat for me. I didn't quite feel as engaged throughout the play as I would want to. I think it was a fine game. I'd be okay to sit down and play it most of the time, but didn't quite sing to me. So on 4 Humours, I came in at a 6. I also took a look at Earth. Now this is the other end of the spectrum for me. I loved this game. I came in at a 9 for Earth. I really thought that the snappy decision or the snappy turns where you're doing something the entire time. There is no downtime in this. Every turn you feel powerful. Every turn you feel successful. And at the end of the game, win or lose, you had a great time. You start out having a good time, you get excited about your tableau that you're building up, and at the end you always feel like you did enough. And I just think that that is fantastic. It really hits a sweet spot for me. So Earth, I came in at a 9. All right, let's keep going.
Hey everyone, Chris here. This week I took a look at Lofoten. I gave a 5.5. I was quite disappointed by this one. This one I had some good hopes for. It's a very abstract 2-player game, very flat. No moments of real excitement with it. It's much better with all of the modules in it, but still only comes in at a 5.5. But next up, Small Samurai Empires. I gave a 7.5. I was really taken by this little action programming, kind of mixed with worker placement area control game. Really enjoy this one. Small package, but it feels like the right size game for what you get with it, so 7.5 from me. Next up, Mountain Goats. I give an 8. I really like dumb, simple little dice chuckers like this, and this one is just moving up your goats on these different number tracks, and there's just moments where you just keep getting stuff, and it feels really good, so 8 from me. I like it a lot. And then lastly, the War of the Ring, the card game, I also gave an 8. This is a type of game I'm not often into, kind of these confrontational head-to-head or 4-player card games about controlling bases, but it feels a lot like, it doesn't feel like War of the Ring, I haven't played that one, but it feels a lot like the Lord of the Rings universe. If you're a fan, even a casual fan of the books and the movies, then it's really cool to kind of go through this story arc, and I like the card play. So there you go, that's been my week.
Hi, I'm Wendy Yi, and this week I reviewed 2 games. The first one was Sabika. I gave an 8.5, which means it's been a good week so far for games. I really enjoyed the tightness of the rondel and the economic system of stuff going on. There's some really cool aspects to this game that I thoroughly enjoy. The other game is Earth. I gave this a 9. It's a very cool engine building card game where everyone's taking simultaneous turns. A lot of fun stuff. Really, really enjoy the engine building. So great games, great week so far, and let's see who's next.
Week in review time. This week I took a look at D&D Onslaught. This is a skirmish game for D&D. I ended up giving this one a 6.5. It had just some things in it that I didn't think made it smooth, and the skirmish game category is like there's tons of great ones out there. This one didn't quite make the cut for me. But then also I took a look at the War of the Ring, the card game. I love the War of the Ring, the board game, and this card game is amazing. Me and Chris played this. I played a bunch with Stephen Bonacore. This is a 9.5 for me, my best game of last year. I love the way this game plays out. Definitely check out the review for that as well. So that's what I took a look at this week.
Hey there everybody, it's Mike DiLisio, and this week I was a part of 3 reviews. First up was Small Samurai Empires. I gave this game a 6 out of 10. I think it does some really clever things. It's kind of a worker placement, action programming type of a system where you are playing on a small map of Japan, and it's essentially area majority. And again, while I think it's clever, it really kind of crossed into the feeling of work more than fun. So it's a game that I admired more than I really ever want to play again, although I can see certain people that I would absolutely recommend this game to. Also, it feels very much like a 2-player game, although it can play up to 4. Next up, I reviewed Astra. This is the newest game from Mind Clash Games, but it is a imprint. I think they're calling it Mind Clash Play, where they're looking, these are simpler, not these big grandiose games they normally do. I gave Astra a 7.5 out of 10. It is a game essentially of area majority, another area majority game, but you are drawing with dry erase markers onto these dry erase cards that represent constellations. And I think it's a very clever game. I like the fact that you are not always trying to win the cards, because the last person to chart a star on the card will take it into their tableau. But sometimes you want to have the majority of stars on there, but not be the last one to take it, so you can get some boons along the bottom. It's again, a clever game, maybe a little longer than it needs to be, but I do like Astra quite a bit. And then finally, my goodness, this game knocked me out, Earth. Earth, I gave a 10 out of 10 to. And as I said in the review, that doesn't mean it's a perfect game. I don't think perfect games exist, but this game is incredible. A card tableau building game where you are trying to synergize a number of different things at the same time. You're using an action selection system where every time somebody takes an action, the active player is going to get the best version of that action, and everybody else around the table are going to get a lesser action. But depending upon the certain types of cards that you've played in your tableau, that secondary action may even turn out to be better for you than the active player. It plays very quickly for what it does. It gives me the feeling of games like Terraforming Mars and Ark Nova. I like it better than both of those in less of the time. This is already a strong contender for Games of the Year. It's going to have to be an amazing year for this not to show up on my Games of the Year list at the end of the year. A 10 out of 10 for Earth. Absolutely stunning, stellar game. All right, well, that's it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, for me, Sabika, the Euro-iest of Euro games, lots of connecting systems with multiple rondels. I felt it just a little too constrictive for me. There's a lot of cool things going on, but it felt a little joyless, so just a 6 out of 10. Onslaught, this D&D combat game from WizKids. Again, a lot of neat things in this one, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of run at the other person, roll dice. A little too much luck. Production values aren't amazing. 6 out of 10. Evora, this is a build columns type game. And again, there's a lot of things I like. I like the movement mechanism in it, but at the end of the day, I keep saying at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, this game was just okay. The scoring was a little wonky. Ahoy, Kitten. Here you just point at stuff. Me and the kids reviewed this one. I liked it okay. So these have all been 6 out of 10, by the way. And you just point at stuff. It's fun for a quick time. I don't know if I would buy it, though. Mountain Goats. All right, let's get to some games I like. 7 out of 10. Mountain Goats is roll dice, make some combinations, and move them up to different things. A little bit of a... Some people are comparing it to Can't Stop. It's not quite there, but it is a quick little dice filler. Astra, another 7 out of 10, filling out stars. There's some issues the game has. It's a little too long. The card combos don't come into play as much, but the constellation theme works really well. I like the boons that the game has. There's a lot of neat stuff there. Shivers, a 7 out of 10 here. This is barely a board game. It's mostly kind of my first role-playing experience, but it does so with pop-up books. Really neat stuff here. Definitely want to check out. 0 to 100. This one's a 7 out of 10, but would probably get an 8 or higher if there was just more. There's just not enough replayability, but it is small, portable, easy to carry around. But trying to guess numbers by putting them, trying to guess the closest number, you know, how many times, as Tom said at the end of the day in this video, you slide that there. I like it. I wish there was a bigger version. Aldabas is a game about doors. Some really nice combos here as you're building a little tableau of doors in front of you that are going to give you different benefits. Then you have like kind of an area control at the end of the game. And I also like the theme, a 7 out of 10. And then easily my favorite game of the week, Earth, amazing, 9.5. A game of combo-liciousness. Every turn you take an action, and you and everyone else does that action. I get a lesser version, but as time goes by, that lesser version goes away with all the neat combos. You like Terraforming Mars, you like Wingspan, you like Arc Nova. This is very much like those. Great game. Z and I also took a look at the Magic Jumpstart sets. I did a video where I talked about the games that fell out of my top 100 games of all time. We did a live play of Forsaken. And in conjunction with Game Nerds, me and Spencer did the top 10 best-selling games of last year, of 2022. And our big top 10, we talked about the top 10 games that came out 10 years ago. That, Board Game Smorgasbord, Crowd Surfing, Board Game Breakfast, lots of stuff for you folks. I hope you enjoyed all the videos this week. Thanks for watching. We got another week of content to do for you now. I'll see you next time. I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been Week in Review on the Dice Tower.